Hilldale and Colorado City are one town. On the Utah side is Hilldale, and it's a smaller portion because the cliffs and the mountainside is right there behind them. The larger part of the community is on the Arizona side. The founding fathers built the town on the border between these two states intentionally, and I do know that there was, or at least there was talk, of a man who had built his house literally on the border, had married one wife in Arizona, and she lived in the Arizona half of the house, married his second wife or a different wife on Utah, and she lived on the Utah side of the house, and that way he was able to have two wives and not be arrested for bigamy in either state because his wife stayed on the state that he was married to her in. The 1953 raid, for those of you who are unaware, was when the governor of Utah and the governor of Arizona got together and said, we are not going to put up with this lawlessness from the polygamous cult down there on the border. And they worked together and brought in police forces to this community. Their plan was to lock up the men and put them in jail for bigamy, to put the children in foster care, and dissolve the community, the lifestyle, the religion all at once. They knew ahead of time, the people in the community. I know they did because Great-Grandpa Johnson told my dad, who was visiting from Salt Lake, to take his sisters with him and go back home. I don't know what time he told him to do this, if it was in the evening, if it was the day before, if it was the morning of. But I do know that they knew, and they had enough time to gather the people of the community early in the morning at the schoolyard, and they stood there singing hymns and waiting for the police officers to arrive. What the governors of Utah and Arizona didn't count on was the mothers refusing to leave their children, and so they were not able to place them in foster care. They had to take care of individual families of mothers and children. My dad was one of the first people that I'm aware of who was asked to leave town and come back and repent. He believes that his Grandpa Johnson did that on purpose because he knew that people who were sympathetic with him over the school scandal were the people from the Centennial Park, from the First Ward side, and Dad thinks that he would have left if Grandpa hadn't asked him to leave town, and that Grandpa was preventing it by sending him away.